Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today we are going to look at, well, the new Soviet destroyers, because we got a tier 9 and 10, and this is the tier 9, the Udaloy. Now, to nobody's great surprise, the Udaloy didn't exist. It was a design, and the Project 35 destroyers were supposed to be the first Soviet attempt at a true multi-role destroyer, because they did realize at some point that destroyers are quite useful. They are doing a lot of things from escort duties to ferrying stuff to anti-submarine warfare to all kinds of things. So they wanted a true multi-role destroyer. And the first attempt at that pretty much was what they ended up with calling the Project 35, I think. So a very quick look. So these were large, fast, heavily armed destroyer leader sort of boats. But they didn't get around to building those, and they were eventually superseded by the Project 40, which I think they didn't get around to building either, but which we see at tier 10. Now, what makes this what is this compared to the other destroyers? Let's have a very quick look, because the line split isn't quite as pronounced and clear as, for example, the Japanese gunboat and torpedo boat destroyer line, right? The Japanese line is very clear. You've got the torpedo line, which is mainly focused on dropping torpedoes from long range, and you've got the gunboat destroyers, which are mainly focused on shooting their guns and have like a lower set of torpedoes. Now, you wouldn't get in a gunfight with the Shimakaze usually. Here it's not quite the same. So if we look at the traditional line, let's start comparing the Udaloy to the Kiev, which is the tier 9 destroyer on the old tech tree. And we see the first thing, the Kiev gets rapid reload, the Udaloy doesn't. In return, it gets smoke screens and defensive AA. And the Kiev is faster by a bit. She's a tad more maneuverable, but not by much. And she effectively has the same guns. Now they do get a slight little bit more range, but otherwise it's exactly the same thing. So far, the Udaloy and the Kiev are pretty much the same, except for the rapid reload. Torpedo tubes on the Kiev are kind of like situational. You do get 2 quintuple launches of torpedoes, and they do more damage and reload a little bit quicker, but they only have a 4.8 kilometer range. You can't stealth torp. You can't do none of these things. So this is one of the NUNT9. So torpedoing things is really not your primary purpose. Whereas on the Udaloy, you get 3 quintuple launchers of torpedoes. We'll get to that in a minute. And she's got, while she does less damage with them, she's got a 7.8 kilometer range, which means the ship is very much capable of stealth torpedoing things. The Udaloy also does have better AA, because once again, this is something that the Soviets realized, that destroyer having AA is a good thing. And if we're looking back at the guns, she actually does get the B2U, the universal B2 turret, which is supposed to be dual purpose. I'm not sure if this was already implemented on the Udaloy or if that was done on the Grozovoy at tier 10, but technically it would have been a dual purpose turret. So the AA on that thing is significantly better than on the Kiev. And so is the surface detection. So it's a little bit like with the Fushun and the Gnevny. The Gnevny is an excellent gunboat. And then they made the Fushun and decided to give it smokes and long-range, hard-hitting torpedoes. I'd be hard-pressed to say that I would prefer playing the Kiev over this thing, because the versatility with smoke screens and long-range torpedoes is just superior. Anyway, I said we were going to compare it to the Grozovoy at tier 10, and this maybe give you a little bit of a reason why I'm actually starting with tier 9 here, which is also unusual, because tier 9 is usually just a bridge of getting to tier 10, whereas a lot of people saying, oh, the Khabarovsk is really just a light cruiser without a citadel, and I prefer to stay on the Kiev. But let's compare the Udaloy to the Grozovoy at tier 10. Now we see that the equipment is almost identical. The Grozovoi gets one more smoke. But let's start taking a look at the numbers. So the Grozovoi gets a little bit more hit points, but is noticeably not as good in terms of maneuverability as the Udaloy. It's not a huge difference, but 4.5 seconds turn time on a destroyer is starting to get into light cruiser territory. So she does get different guns, which have a faster reload, but and slightly less damage on the main batteries. But other than that, are pretty much comparable. She gets, and here it becomes really funky, she gets 2 quintuple launchers of torpedoes, which have the same range, the same reload, the same torpedo speed, the same flooding chance, and the same traverse. They do an insignificant margin more of damage. But you've noticed the 2 in there. Why? And I'm almost wondering what happened here, because I had a quick look at the design sketches for the Udaloy class for the Project 35s, and none of them had 3 quintuple torpedoes. There was one with 2 quintuple and I think 1 triple, or 1 twin launcher on the superstructure, and there was one with 3 triple launchers. So what I'm almost wondering might have happened here is that, and I think on PC the Udaloy also has 3 triple launches, that this might have been a mistake. So I'm not sure yet if that's the case, but as it stands today, the Tier 9 destroyer has a significantly better torpedo loadout than the Tier 10 destroyer, while having pretty much comparable guns. The Grozovoi gets noticeably better AA. I mean, it's still not a Swedish destroyer, but it's no slouch necessarily. But the Udaloy also has a much better concealment. And the Grozovoi doesn't get a longer torpedo range. So with a 6.7 kilometer based surface detection and a 7.8 kilometer torpedo range, she only has a single kilometer difference in order to get some stealth torps off. And she only gets 2 quintuple launchers, so 10 for 10 torpedoes versus the 15 on the Udaloy. Why would I ever want that? Which means you can't build the Grozovoi for speed, but you have to build her for concealment and all these kind of things. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not sure if this is a bug and this will be corrected at some point, but it's definitely not just in the description. You literally get 15 torpedoes. Now you don't get 15 centerline mounted torpedoes. So if we're taking a quick look, you can see them. There's one centerline mounted here, just aft of the funnel, and the 2 of them are side mounted in front, which means that you can fire 10 torpedoes in one direction on one side, and then you have to turn the ship around and fire the other 5 in the other direction, which isn't a huge problem. It's just something, it's not a Shima with triple centerline mounted things. All right, let's take a look. Elite bonus wise, you can get the better HE shells, and especially that it improves the fire chance on these things. That's a nice thing to have. You could also go for torpedo tube reload and torpedo tube traverse. But, I mean, it is a good torpedo boat, but it's almost equivalent to a Kiev in terms of gunpowder, and that is fearsome. So I ended up playing this more aggressively. Like I played the Gnevny as a multi-role ship. So fire everything. In terms of modules, might be very unusual. But I have actually put the torpedo tube mod in here. And the reason for that is the side-mounted torpedoes. Now, so what happens, right? Let's take a look. Let's see if I can explain what I'm talking about. So let's pretend you're firing your torpedoes here on the right side, right? So your right side torpedo launchers are pointing to where you're pointing them. Now, what the game's doing with the rear torpedo launchers is pointing it in the same direction, which is fine. What it's doing with the left torpedo launcher is it's going to point it flat out forward, because it's trying to point it in the same direction as your right side torpedo launcher, but it can't because, well, there's a superstructure in the way. Which means that if you're trying to fire in the other direction, your torpedo launchers have to actually circle back. I mean, they're either pointing straight rear or straight forward, I'm not sure, but the torpedo launchers actually have to circle back. So let's say you want to drop your torpedoes on the other side. You have to wait for your torpedo launchers to make that 90-degree turn from either direction to actually get there. And that's the point where the torpedo traverse actually comes in, and with this setup, the torpedo traverse is up to 21 degrees per second, which is quite workable. This is a similar problem that you have on Le Terrible, I think, although there I'm pretty sure I didn't go with that. You can use, what else can you use? You could use the main battery reload, but the main batteries have a turret traverse of 30 degrees per second, so there's really no reason for that. For the traverse mod. So main battery reload would be the only thing that you could use otherwise, which is probably not a terrible choice if you plan to go more gunboating. You do want the propulsion mod in slot 1 because it's a destroyer, and I actually haven't built her for concealment, but I have built her for steering. And once again, the reasoning is that the Udaloy actually has a decent concealment with 6.3 kilometers. Now, you could make it a very, very decent concealment, but your torpedoes don't hit all that hard. I mean, 3,300 points of damage is not that much in Tier 9. And the guns are far too good to ignore, so most of the times they'll be blazing away anyway. Which means having the steering in that slot gets her turn time down to 3.6 seconds, which is good. So that's my preferred layout. For the commander, I have the underwater protection. I do have battlefield support for an additional air defense alert because you're in a destroyer, and even if you spot the torpedoes a bit late, you should usually be able to avoid them. I have preheating, obviously, air defense expert. I've got Daredevil because she doesn't get a precise aim or rapid reload. No need for that. Definitely exploit weakness because we are trying to set things on fire or flood them. The fully prepared is nothing else really. You do want the Mistweaver because you get better smoke, and you do want the engine overload for a better engine boost. You don't need the master reloader, so you may as well use Honor Seeker because I don't think compartment maintenance isn't going to be doing you a huge amount of good, but if you're flooding frequently, that might be a thing. And down the road, IFHE would be the recommended skill probably because the high explosive shells are really, really good. And I would actually, even against destroyers, oftentimes just stay with the high explosive because they are just that good and they are setting a lot of fires, and the armor piercing isn't doing that much more damage. So if you look at them, the difference is marginal, and you've got an almost 5% fire chance with these things. So very, very good high explosive shells, often worth sticking with them. Camo-wise, the historical camo, while being blue, also gives us main battery firing range, torp range, and better surface detection, all great things. But as usual, we'll be sticking with the seaborne assaults. Battle honor-wise, you can win 20 battles, which is easy. You can destroy 60 enemy ships, which is something you'll be doing. You can do 60 caps, which with a ship that is very quick is something you'll be doing as well. 1.8 million damage is something that's easy to do, and even just 90,000 points of damage in one battle almost shows me that Wargaming is underestimating a little bit what you can do with these things. So not a difficult set of requirements if you're playing through this ship. And if you're not planning to get the Grozavoy anyway, you just want to stick with the tier 9 one, then yeah. You may as well just do that. Anyway, let's get ourselves into some battle, shall we? In the first one, it's a tier 10 battle. We're on chain in the epicenter mode. No carrier, fortunately, but we've got Double Yama, Minnesota, Worcester, Balti, Shima, and an enemy Udaloy on the other team. So let's see what we can pull off here. Obviously, we do want to be contesting the center cup, especially that there's no carrier around. But if there was, we have both smoke and defensive AA, which is often a good thing. So let's switch over to I'm switching over to the armor piercing first, just to try it out a little bit on the enemy destroyers. But after experimenting around, I would generally probably just stick with the high explosive, even against destroyers, because it is just that good. But first order of business, 45 knots, engine boost up, and we get ourselves into the center cup. And yeah, we're going to wait and see if we can torp something. This is something that surprises people occasionally, including me in the Petro review, if you've seen that earlier this week, because very fast ship with relatively long-range torpedoes can be a little bit surprising. So we've got the torpedoes off on one side. The torpedoes are a little bit bugged in this battle, so if you see them twitching around and occasionally not just disappearing, then that's the thing that's just happening. But we've made it almost to the center island. There are 2 enemy destroyers in the center cup. I know that because they are cupping, even though I'm in there. There comes the Udaloy and the Shima. So the Udaloy has managed to go through my to get through my torpedoes. And has dropped his torpedoes. So far it's just the normal stuff. I've got one spread in reserve. But right now I'm just going to smoke up and start see if I can shoot something, because there is something on the other side that is firing at me and I don't necessarily want. I can't lob these here, but right now I'm just trying to contest the center cup and maybe do something. Okay, the enemy Udaloy has smoked up as well. I think I'm coming under cruiser fire here, and I'm going to be perma-spotted by the Udaloy. I'm just going to dunk some torps and then get out of here. So, which means we can bully the Shima a little bit. Now Shima is smoking up. And yeah, at this range, something like Shima, yes, you can use the armor piercing, definitely. But you see, we're already getting semi-pens, so you quickly do want to resort to the high explosive. There's the enemy Udaloy, so there's going to be more torps in there. I'm immediately on fire. Okay, that's I'm not sure what that is. These should be Udaloy torps. There's 2 spreads coming in, but with a nice big gap in the middle. Okay, double fire. There you see what I'm talking about, right? And I'm switching over to the high explosive because it's just so much better. Alright, we're not going to be getting that center cup, but we can make sure that we are holding the outer ones and make that Udaloy's life unpleasant. Now he is showing a little bit of a pattern here. He's poking his nose out, probably dropping torpedoes, and then it's going to go back in again. And are these his torps? Maybe, but we've set him on fire. So I might just be. Is he going to stay behind? Yeah, he's going to stay behind. So I'm just going to preemptively drop some torps in case he's poking his nose out again. And and I think there he comes. Is he coming there? Okay, I'm detected. He's not. Yeah, there he is. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna just use the forward guns. The gun turret placement is very good as well, by the way. You can just really use your forward guns. Now he's smoking up. And he's trying to shoot at me. The thing is, I have seen that coming, and he's destroyed. I got him, even though my torpedoes would have gotten him. But am I going to take 1 torp? Nah, not with this thing. Yeah, but we did manage to catch him. Oh, I might take one of these, actually. There was another spread in the water that I didn't see. Yeah, that's fine. We've got a heal coming off, and now that the Udaloy is dead and the Shima is nowhere to be seen, I can get myself the center cup. And since we've been holding the 2 outside rings, we are actually, and we killed 2 ships, we are actually almost equal on points. Now Shima is coming around the corner, so we're just going to dunk some torps here. Once he makes up his mind where he wants to go. He can't see me, and at this range, once again, I'm using the armor piercing because Shima are lightly armored and they do a little bit more damage. But yeah, now you're stuck because there are torpedoes coming. And now you're very, very quickly trying to reverse out of there, but I don't see that happening. And now you're being shot at from both directions, and that means you're a very dead Shima. So no, this is my center cup. Bugger off. All right, now we're finally getting into the business of center cupping, and there are only 3 battleships left, so now it's just high explosive time and getting ourselves over there. We're making sure that we can still collect a little bit of damage. But well played from my team and good support there, actually. There's an enemy Minnesota. We do get the Clash Zone award. Just drop some torpedoes in his general direction. But the good thing about these ships is that it's not just the torpedoes. you can also gunboat in these things, and that is a very, very welcome multi-role capability that you get on these things. So I've got some torpedoes on the other side, and we'll see if these actually make it there. I think he was around about at the edge of my torpedo range, so I'm just going to start shooting at him. And I think the torpedoes just expired before they made it there, so Minnesota is running away, which means I'm just going to be chasing him now that I can restore some hit points. The torpedoes don't do a huge amount of damage. The Minnesota has a very good torpedo damage reduction, so and his damage cons a single fire. Okay. Why? I mean, you've lost, right? Don't waste your resources. You've lost. So now we're just going to go chase the Minnesota and see if we can dunk some more torpedoes at close range into him now that I have a little bit of health and cannot just be blapped out of the water. I mean, in a way, I have wasted my heal there as well, because we have clearly won. But, you know, I do want to collect a little bit more damage, so that's a different story. And single fire, no damaconing that. Just trying to get a perma-fire going on the Minnesota. And getting the drops ready for the drop. Is he going to go into the turn? He will probably go into the dodge turn. But there's the Halland coming from the other side. And, yeah, now he goes into the turn. So... yeah, nice try, but not going to be sufficient. So 2 loads of torpedoes into that thing, and try not to die. And only 5 torpedoes. So my second torpedo spread vanished into the ether, but I'm just going to kill him with my guns, and I'll do it as well. Alright, and we did come out at the top of the team in a tier 10 battle in a tier 9 destroyer, but a very, very good tier 9 destroyer. And let's have a quick look at how we did compared to the rest of the team. I mean, not 50,000 points of damage isn't a huge amount. I mean, obviously the Republic has done twice that much, but I'm a destroyer and it's a center cut map, so that's be that. Let's do a second one. And here we are on Deadlock in a domination battle, and we're actually top tier, so it's a tier 9 game. Carrier game though. So we do need to watch out a little bit, and it's Edinburgh and Cleveland, which is something you do need to be careful about, even in a tier 9 destroyer, because they can make your life very, very interesting indeed. So let's see how that turns out. Domination's fun, because once again, it's a really, really quick ship, and it's got smoke screens. So unless you're running into radar cruisers or radar destroyers, you are actually capable of grabbing a cap reasonably early without a carrier to being able to do all that much about it. So, well, I've got 2 cruisers around here. Let's see where they're going when I'm heading into sea, because Sea Cup has got that nice big island there, which completely shields me from enemy fire. I've got a Cleveland and an Edinburgh with me. So we're just going to head over there. The carrier is coming in, so he might be spotting me. We'll find out, but if he does, I do have a defensive AA as well. And we do have some air support. No, we don't have air support from the friendly fighters. Defensive AA up. He doesn't seem to be wanting to drop the destroyer, but he's more interested to shoot at the cruisers. Which, given that that's a Cleveland and an Edinburgh, I'm not quite sure why. But I am taking fire over the island here, so that's probably the enemy Cleveland, I guess, if I had to guess. Because he can lob these things easy. And I am still air spotted. But nobody seems to be contesting this, and there's a battleship out there, was spotted for a second next to that island there. So, who do I have with me? I think it was Edinburgh. Anyway, there's a battleship there. I mean, we're air spotted anyway, but we'll be shooting these planes down at some point. And it looks like everything's concentrated around the middle, except for that one battleship, so I'm just waiting to go undetected. Yep, there is the Monarch. And there's also the enemy carrier. Okay, which means I'm probably going to be spotted again. And the Monarch is blind firing me, I guess. This is where I was. It wasn't a bad shot. So I'm going to go and let's go and pretend that I dropped torpedoes and just try and set the Monarch on fire. Because at this range, I mean, he's going full speed. The torpedoes are not going to hit anyway. So there's really no point. He's going to be out of range of my torpedoes any moment. So I might as well just use my first smoke and just farm a little bit of damage. See if I can I set a fire, maybe? We'll see. And just make sure he doesn't come anywhere close to the capture circle and leaves our Edinburgh alone. Okay, he is blind firing at me, but not to great effect. No fires, which is a bit unfortunate. But the carrier was somewhere around here. Let's see if we can bully the carrier a bit. And just distract him from, well, just stop him dropping our Edinburgh back there. Hey, there is Monarch, so I do have to be mildly careful about my... Okay, that's a fire on the carrier. Is he damaconing that? Yeah, there is HE coming in, and I'm not sure if the carrier is going after me here. But no, he isn't. He's just flying over. Okay, he's not damaconing in single fire, so he's not a complete idiot. But I'm going to drop some torpedoes in his wake, and he might be surprised by my... Oh, it was actually the carrier shooting at me. All right, with his guns. Brave carrier. But there's a Cleveland, and there's still the Monarch behind me, so I can't really turn around here and get the other side, the other torpedoes away. So I'm just going to smoke up here again. Got another fire set. Are you going to damacon that fire? Nope, still not. Okay, well, let it burn then by all means. Some torpedoes coming in. And 1, 2, that's a flood. Yeah, that's what he's been waiting for. Nice, well played, well played. He would have been dead otherwise from the perma-flood. If I can get a permafire set, that'd be great, but I do have to get out of there because there's a Monarch behind me and there's a Cleveland next to me. And Cleveland is not something I really want to be... I'm pretty sure I'm in radar range of that Cleveland, so I don't, he might be popping out any second if he's actually aware that I'm next to him. But torpedoes are almost reloaded, so let's donk one in this direction. And there's the Erland, he might be turning around, so let's donk another one in that direction. And then we're just buggering out of here, because there's still the Monarch next to us, and we do have to be careful about that guy as well. Cleveland seems to be slowing down, so I'm dropping the other torps while dodging the Monarch shots. Okay, that's a flood on the Cleveland. And he damage cons that, but if he stays there, he's going to die to my other torps, probably, but I think he's going to be dead before that. So let's slow down, dodge the shots from the Monarch, and then we'll be playing with that battleship a little bit more. Meanwhile, well, we are ahead on points, but we've just lost... no, actually, we're even now on kills. And I think I've hit the Erland still with one torps, but I did force a Damacon out of the Monarch. So let's see what we can do about that. And but we are losing the center cup. No one's bothered going to A the whole battle. I've got my hands full. So Monarch is chasing Edinburgh, and that Edinburgh is in trouble because I mean he's lucky that the Monarch is firing high explosive at him and not armor piercing. But I guess. But let's see if we can get a little bit closer while generally trying to distract the Monarch and prevent him from killing our Edinburgh. And his Damacon might still be on cooldown, but I seem not to be able to get another fire. So let's drop some torpedoes in his general direction. He doesn't seem to be paying much attention to me. Oh no, he does. Okay, he does. He's noticed me. Now we got a fire. So either he's going to Damacon that, and I've got aircraft incoming as well. Either he's going to Damacon that, or he's going to take the torps. Maybe his Damacon's still on cooldown. And he probably now he should have seen the torps. And there we go. Oh, just 2, 3, 5, and that's a flood. Okay, so I think at this point, is it still ticking? Yes, it's still ticking. Nice. Now I've got Edinburgh problems, and Edinburgh is something I'm out of smokes. Edinburgh is something I really don't want to be with. So let's wait until the Edinburgh shoots. Edinburgh smokes up, dodge the carrier torps, and get the heck out of here because we don't want to be shot at by Edinburghs. No, no, thank you. And the Monarch's still alive. I mean, he's got range at me from the other direction. Yep, he does. We are ahead on points, but we are down one ship. And I am being shot at both by an Edinburgh and by a Monarch. So engine boost up, and let's try to get the hell out of here. Okay, Edinburgh can't shoot at me. Turn away from the Monarch. Wiggle ship, wiggle ship. Okay, what's it looking like? There's an Odin. No, it's a Jean Bart. Jean Bart on low health. Let's see if we can help with that thing a little bit. Because he is threatening our carrier, but I think he is dead. Yes, he is dead. Kansas takes him out. And there's the Edinburgh again shooting at me. Okay, bollocks. And the carrier is keeping me spotted, of course, as well, with all these fighters around here. I'm not sure what our carrier is doing, really. It doesn't seem to be having any fighters out. But let's just dodge the shots from the Edinburgh. The Monarch is somewhere there on the other side as well. It means I've just fighters. Unfortunately, they're just keeping me spotted. So just dunking torpedoes in the general direction and trying as much as possible to duke these Edinburgh shots. I mean, we are ahead on points, but we're both holding one cup. Okay, the Kansas takes out the Edinburgh. Nice, well done. Edinburgh's been trying to kill me all this time. That seals the deal. And now I just have to run away from the Monarch. And I think we're all good. Yep, there comes some more Monarch shots. Everybody's shooting at me. But that's fine. That's what I'm here for. If they're shooting at me, they're not shooting at my teammates, which is much appreciated. So, yeah. And I think, was it the Kansas? Yeah, it was the Kansas doing a great job there and just blapping these cruisers out of the water. Well done, while they were all busy shooting at me. But yeah, that's the Udaloy. It's an excellent ship. It's fast. It's got great guns. It's got smoke screens. It's got good AA. And I'm not Swedish level, but it's got good AA. The torps don't hit particularly hard, but they have a good range, and they reload reasonably quickly, and you've got 15 of them. So you can spam torps quite a little bit in this ship. Would I want to go up to tier 10 right now? I'm not sure yet. Haven't tried the Grozovoy. Definitely not vastly more powerful than this ship, which means that either the Grozovoy is a decent tier 10 and this is an extremely good tier 9, or the crossover is a bit crap, but we're going to have to find that out when we get to it. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye.